So freeing my mind, freeing your mind. What does that mean? What's this freeing my mind thing? Let's see if this comes up. You guys see that? So I love Facebook and I love graphics that, like I think Leslie mentioned something, find something that you can hold on to that resonates with you. Realizing that freeing my mind, what am I freeing my mind from? I'm freeing my mind from my thoughts. I'm freeing my mind from believing that thoughts are true. That my thoughts are true. So I really like this. I don't know. Can you guys see? Does it come out pretty close there? So the thing I want to make a little adjustment is what it says. What society wants me to think, and then what I think. So this whole topic is about freeing my mind from the thoughts or the beliefs, because the bottom line is, Leslie, you nailed it. Our thoughts are based on what we believe. And if we can use our thoughts as a way to uncover core beliefs that may or may not be true, we have an opportunity to free our minds. Now in this world, and you know, this whole idea of mental illness, this is what I love this one. Mental illness is nothing but the inability to direct our minds. I've heard that said somewhere. I do not believe in mental illness. What I do believe in is confusion. What I do believe in is there's a distortion to our thoughts. What I do believe is that we have lost the ability to be with our own mind long enough and sincerely enough and authentically enough to treat those thoughts that cause suffering and pain, to treat those thoughts like misguided children. Those thoughts need our love and our attention. Because it is any thought that causes suffering that is an untrue thought. Our true nature is love. Our true essence is naturally to be enjoyed, to naturally be so happy that I can hang out with you guys here right now, today, doing what I'm doing. It's a miracle. If you were in my mind, you know that saying, my mind's like a bad neighborhood, you don't want to go there alone? You've heard that. That's an old one. It's a good one. Because I know each one of you knows and remembers when that mind of yours was a bad neighborhood and you didn't want to go there alone. When we are willing to be a parent to the thoughts, the misguided thoughts that need our love and attention, when we're willing to be present with our thoughts, to actually give ourselves the attention and the time and the presence to really inquire as to whether or not this thought is true, something happens. Something happens when we are willing to be present. You know what happens when we're willing to be present with ourselves? We uncover our true nature. And it is my wish and my hope for every aspect of God's creation to remember the truth that has always been true. That we are already whole, holy, that we are already unlimited, in perfect power and perfect peace, that abundance has been given us, as you mentioned in the scripture reading. Ask and you shall receive, and you receive according to what you believe. So what we get to do in this work, you know, we're all hanging out here together because we know there's more work to do, that there's more healing to accomplish within this one And I volunteered, and each one of you volunteered for this healing. Now I know when you're in the neighborhood that you don't want to be alone in, it's not real fun to admit that I volunteered for this. Because it isn't feeling so good, right? But the fact of the matter is, if you are willing, if I am willing, to take complete responsibility for every experience I have, then I'm willing to go into those neighborhoods, those places of darkness, and see that there is always a way out. Because on some level, I've asked for this and I have received it as I have asked, because it is my healing. It's my undoing. I'm the one doing the work when my mind looks like this. And I didn't talk that much about it, but I love it. We can always talk about it later. Because this is, our true nature is what I think. My true nature, your true nature and your thoughts and your beliefs and your essence is the beauty of abundance, creativity, unlimitedness, and absolute service. You know, when you love yourself, when you honor yourself and allow yourself to be, allow myself to be, then I know I can let you be you too. I know that I am withdrawing all need for you to be different from the way you are. Because I don't want to argue with reality. And in that moment, if you're doing something that I don't like, it isn't about you changing. It's not about you doing something different. It's about me taking responsibility and looking at how can I be present with myself enough to step away from harm if I need to, or to see how what I am seeing in the other is actually a projection of my own mind. Because oh boy, you guys, I'm telling you, once I start going, it's like what do you call that? You know, the worm or the yarn. Yeah, it's like you start pulling, and all of a sudden, oh my goodness, come on, you guys, let's go. There's more here. There's more here. Let's uncover. Like you were saying, the simplicity of asking and receiving, but then all of a sudden it's like, but I'm only getting what I believe. Well, what am I believing? How do I understand what my beliefs are? You stay present with yourself. You be willing to take full responsibility for every experience you have. How many people want to do that? I think you were talking, somebody mentioned something that, oh gosh, it's your fault. You did that. The problem's out there. That's distorted thinking. That's mind confusion. To think the problem is outside of myself is setting me up to be at the effect, or the V word, victim. I don't like that word at all. Because I had a lot of experience believing that about myself. But that experience brought me to the truth that I am not that. That I am the creator. I am the maker of my experience based on what I think. And if I don't know how to be with my thoughts, I'm going to drink, I'm going to use, I'm going to eat, I'm going to distract, I'm going to do this, I'm going to say it's you, I'm going to say it's the government, I'm going to say it's global warming, I'm going to say it's all these things out there. That's the problem. And the problem is never any of those things. We're here because we're willing to grow up and take responsibility. We're here because we realize that on some level I'm creating this experience. How do I handle that? What do I do about that? I inquire into my own thoughts. That's kind of a scary place to go. And if you don't want to go there alone, you don't have to, because you're not alone. Every one of us is with you. Because every one of us is you. As you see me, you see yourself. I'm a projection. I'm a mirror of what your mind, this mind is a huge, powerful, creative experience or a process that is God-given, that allows us all of those things, that all the qualities that we give God, are qualities that have been given us. And when we forget and think that we are separate from the source of goodness, when we think that we're separate from our true nature, when we've lost what Betty and Robert talk about being off path, being off path is just forgetting our true nature. Any thought that hurts is a thought that isn't remembering my true nature? And it's a thought that isn't remembering your true nature. And a lot of us are really confused. And a lot of us, when you go out into the world, you'll see the distortion of the thoughts. And that's what the government, the politics, the world, global warming, the this, the that. When we pick up the newspaper and we look at all this stuff, if there's a way that we can use all that as a mirror to reflect back to us, how do I clean up my thinking? How do I clean up whatever my belief is about thinking that I'm not the one creating my experience? When I create my experience, when I'm willing to take total responsibility, I am freeing my mind. Wow. Okay. So, what happens? Oh wait, hold on. Let's see. Do I have another one? Oh, here's a good one. So what happens when, you know, when we're lost in our distorted thinking or confused? It's like, what the heck is that? And it's like, oh, that's just my mind. How many of you spent time there? Hello, hello. If not today, how about yesterday? If not this lifetime, how about it? And you know what? It's beautiful. That's beautiful. That is the raw material. Okay, that's the raw material. Wait, hold on. Okay, hang in there with me, you guys. Whoop. Whoop. Come back, come back. That's the raw material of this. Do you know what I'm saying? So if we think we're confused, if we think we're crazy, we're actually in a situation to make a choice to turn back towards this one, myself. I get to turn back and stay present with my thoughts long enough to say, is it true? Is this thought true? So Mary really hurt my feelings. Mary did this thing to me. Mary did this to me. She blew me up. I know, whatever. You guys, we all have these stories, right? They're stories. We're making up stuff about what we think we see other people doing. We make up stuff about who we think we are. So my point is, everything is made up. Everything is your responsibility. When other people do stuff, if I take it personally, I'm not remembering that it's their own projection. They're reacting or responding out of what they're thinking and what they're seeing. So why is it that I think Mary hurt me? Is that really true? So what do I think Mary did? And you know, the ego, the personality, the part of us that believes it's separate, which is like, you could see the society piece is like, society wants me to think like this. That's also a metaphor, a symbol for separation or fear, society. You know, society isn't society. You know what society is? It's a symbol of our own individual thinking. It's a symbol of my mind that tells me that I have to conform to some standard or something that's external to me. Society is something that I think I have to do to get along, to fit in. Do you know how painful that is? When we have to distort our true nature in order to fit in with something else? Do you wonder why people are depressed? Do you wonder why there's stuff out there? We are the ones that are changing that whole process, because what we realize now is it isn't out there, that the depression and the distortion and the suffering, you want to know the only thing that causes suffering? There's only one source. Is that cool? Isn't that simple? One source. You guys know what it is? Thank you. Our thoughts. The only source of suffering is the thoughts that we have about what's going on, about what's out there in the world. And you know what's really funny? Is that what's out there in the world is just really a projection of our own mind. So we're in this really interesting loop. And the loop is beautiful. It's beautiful when I'm willing, and I'm going to stop here in a minute. The loop, this feedback mechanism that the world is, everything that's happening in the world is for us. It's a friendly universe. This world is an abundant universe. The July theme is abundance. The third unity principle is thoughts create. You know, I didn't even have to say any of the stuff I just said. I didn't even have to say any of it. I'm just doing it to humor myself.
And the rest of us.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's hope. We gotta laugh a lot, you know, at these thoughts. Thoughts create. That's all. But we've made it really complicated. And the most important thing to remember is our true nature is loving kindness that is here to extend and to serve other loving kindnesses. It's almost like that's the word. And anything that gets in the way of that is a thought that is not true. You know, everybody's like, okay, so who am I to say what's true? I get to make it up. I get to make up what's true for me, and you make up what's true for you. And if you start trying to believe what's true for me for yourself, you're going to lose it. You're going to end up like that other. This is just fun, you guys. I can't help it. Oh, wait. See, this is, come on now. Oh, no. You're going to end up like, whoop, like that. You already knew what I was doing. And that actually fits in with what you were talking about, healing. The healing happens the minute we ask for it. But there's these layers of confusion. There's layers of doubt, of doubting ourselves. There's layers of fear and projection and thinking it's out there. When we start taking responsibility and realizing that all those layers are in the way of us just coming back home, coming back to the home that I am, the home that lives in me all the time, you know, we never left that place. We're home all the time. It's just how willing am I to own that, to take responsibility for my creations, my thoughts. Am I willing to be responsible for how I think other people are treating me? It's so easy to just not take responsibility. That I'm making up a story about what you're doing to me. And if I think what you're doing to me is wrong, then I need to ask myself, well, what have I done to other people that they may think is wrong? Like, we're all in this together. You turn it around. The minute you say it's out there, turn it around and say, well, when have I done that? How do I clean up when I've mistreated someone? We've all done that stuff because we're all in a body. We're all part of this strange kind of dream, movie. You've heard that talked, you know, you've heard that before. So this movie ends in a way that you could never imagine. It's the most perfectly beautiful ending. And I know you all know what that ending is because each one of you have had moments where you've gone into your own mind and seen your true nature, and you've remembered the space and the source that lives in you, that is you, that's guided by you, by God, by good, by loving kindness. And that is the light of the world. That is where we have been called to grow and to heal and to expand and to express so that other people can see how to do it. We do it for ourselves. We spend time, we inquire into our thoughts, we realize that whatever experience we are having, whether good, bad, or indifferent, is something that we're actually creating. And so it's all really, really good. And I had a really good time. I must say, once I got here, it was really fun. But yesterday and getting here is not so fun. I still have a lot of nervousness about wondering if my big belief is I'm not enough. So everything that I went through for the last 48 hours was a huge gift to teach me about I am enough just because I showed up. I am enough just because I'm here. If there was somebody else who was meant to give the message, they'd be giving the message. And that's why I laugh. Like, how do we get here? How did I get here? What? You mean I'm supposed to be doing this? Well, yeah. If I want to argue with that, I'm going to make myself uncomfortable and suffer. And that's what I was doing a whole bunch yesterday and today. But the minute I got here, I looked at you guys, and it was like, oh, I'm home. This is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. So in closing, freeing our mind is about being independent of thinking that it's out there. Freeing our mind is taking responsibility for all of our thoughts, treating our thoughts with loving kindness. When they cause suffering, ask if it's true and go deeper and deeper into this meditation, into this space and this place. And realizing that, you know, we're all in this together and that you are a part of it. And I'm just going to keep loving and learning and believing in the good in all. And it is a friendly universe, and the universe is here to support and love you as it is me. And my mind is free. And I'm doing this, and I'm dedicating this talk to my father. I love my dad, and we all need the help and the healing. A lot of us have been stuck in believing there's something wrong with us. A lot of us have been stuck in thinking that there's something wrong with our minds. I have. I thought there was something wrong with me, and you know what? There isn't. The only thing there's no wrong. It's a distortion of thought. It's a forgetting that the truth and the beauty and the love that I am is in there in the midst of it all. And I need you guys to remind me of that truth. I need to tell you what I need to hear. This talk is for me, about me, by me. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do it, or say it, or remember it. Pretty cool, huh? It's a fail-safe world.